Have you ever wondered why some people who once couldn't spend a day without you suddenly become strangers the moment your circumstances change? Why the people who constantly called, texted, and praised you somehow vanish when you stop giving them what they want? It's one of the hardest realities to accept because it forces us to question relationships we thought were genuine. We naturally want to believe that loyalty is built on love, respect, and shared experiences. We tell ourselves that the people who laugh with us, celebrate with us, and stand beside us today will always be there tomorrow. But life has a way of stripping away comforting illusions. Time changes people. Success changes people. Hardship changes people. Most importantly, the disappearance of benefits changes people. That is when masks begin to fall, intentions become visible, and relationships reveal what they were truly built upon from the very beginning. It is an uncomfortable lesson, but one that has the power to protect your peace for the rest of your life. The sooner you understand it, the less likely you are to waste your energy chasing people who were never really walking beside you. They were simply walking beside what you could offer them. Many people are not loyal to you. They are loyal to the role you play in their lives. They are loyal to the opportunities you create, the problems you solve, the comfort you provide, the money you lend, the advice you freely give, the connections you introduce them to, or the emotional support you constantly offer. While those benefits continue to flow, everything appears perfect. They compliment you. They appreciate you. They remind you how much you mean to them. They tell others how lucky they are to have someone like you. Their words make you believe the relationship is deep, genuine, and unbreakable. Then life changes. Perhaps your finances become tighter, leaving you unable to lend money as you once did. Maybe work becomes more demanding, leaving you with less time to solve everyone's problems. Perhaps you begin setting healthy boundaries after years of saying yes to everything. Maybe you are the one who suddenly needs encouragement instead of always being the encourager. It is often in these ordinary moments, not dramatic betrayals, that people quietly reveal where their loyalty truly lies. The conversations become shorter, the invitations become fewer, the calls become less frequent, the enthusiasm fades. Nothing may be said directly, yet everything changes. You begin to realize that the relationship wasn't sustained by mutual care. It was sustained by constant benefit. Imagine standing outside during a heavy rainstorm. The rain is relentless. Every drop reminds you how valuable an umbrella is. You hold onto it tightly because it protects you from discomfort. You are grateful for it with every passing minute. Yet the moment the clouds disappear and the sun returns, that same umbrella suddenly feels inconvenient. Instead of appreciating it, you fold it up and carry it as an extra burden. It hasn't changed. Its purpose hasn't changed. The only thing that changed was your need for it. Human relationships can be painfully similar. Some people value you only while you are shielding them from life's storms. As long as you are helping them through heartbreak, unemployment, loneliness, financial struggles, or personal crises, your presence feels essential. But once life becomes comfortable again, your importance quietly diminishes. The person they once couldn't stop thanking becomes the person they barely remember checking on. It is not always because they are evil. Sometimes it is simply because convenience has a remarkably short memory. People easily remember the pain they escaped, but often forget the hands that helped them escape it. If you pay close attention, you will notice that some people only appear when they have a need. Months may pass without hearing from them. Then suddenly your phone rings. A friendly greeting quickly turns into a request. They need advice. They need money. They need your influence. They need your time. They need your skills. Once the need is satisfied, silence returns. At first, you may convince yourself that everyone gets busy. And that is true. Life keeps us all occupied. But genuine relationships make room for simple moments of connection that have nothing to do with transactions. A true friend checks on you without an agenda. A loyal family member asks how you are doing without expecting a favor in return. Someone who genuinely values you remembers you during ordinary days, not only during emergencies. That difference may seem small, but it reveals the foundation upon which every relationship stands. One of the greatest mistakes kind-hearted people make is confusing being needed with being loved. The feeling of being needed can be addictive because it makes us feel important. Every request reinforces the belief that we matter. Every favor strengthens our sense of purpose. Slowly, we become the person who solves everyone's problems. We answer every late-night phone call. We sacrifice our own plans. We put our needs aside because helping others gives us satisfaction. There is nothing wrong with generosity. In fact, generosity is one of the most admirable qualities a person can possess. The danger begins when your identity becomes tied to your usefulness. If your value depends entirely on what you can provide, then every relationship becomes fragile. The moment you can no longer give, you begin wondering whether you still deserve to be loved. That is an exhausting way to live because it turns affection into something you constantly have to earn, instead of something freely shared. Another powerful image comes from a blind man who depends on a walking stick every single day. Every step he takes is guided by it. Every obstacle he avoids is because that stick faithfully supports him. Without it, moving forward would be nearly impossible. Now imagine that one day his sight is completely restored. Suddenly the walking stick becomes unnecessary. It is placed in a corner where dust slowly begins to cover it. The stick did nothing wrong. It simply outlived its usefulness. Sadly, some people treat human beings exactly this way. During their darkest seasons, they lean heavily on those who comfort, encourage, and support them. They promise they will never forget such kindness. They speak with deep gratitude because they genuinely believe they will always remember who stood beside them. But as life improves, memories become shorter. New opportunities arrive. New friendships develop. Success introduces new circles of influence. Without realizing it, some people leave behind the very individuals who helped them survive their most difficult moments. You may have witnessed this in school, where one student patiently helps another prepare for important examinations. Night after night, they study together. They explain difficult topics, encourage persistence, and celebrate every small improvement. When graduation arrives, one person moves into a successful career while the other quietly continues building their own life. Years later, gratitude has disappeared, not because help was never received, but because success has a way of convincing some people that they reached their destination entirely on their own. The same pattern appears in business, families, workplaces, and friendships. Someone opens a door for another person. They recommend them for a position, mentor them through uncertainty, or support them financially when nobody else would. Once stability returns, the helper slowly fades from memory. The destination is remembered, but the bridge that made the journey possible is forgotten. This reality can leave deep emotional wounds if you are unprepared for it. You may begin asking yourself painful questions. Was everything fake? Did they ever truly care? Was I simply being used? While those questions are understandable, they are not always the most helpful ones. Human beings are complex. Some people intentionally exploit others. Others simply become distracted by life, comfort, and success. Regardless of the reason, the lesson remains the same. Never build your self-worth upon another person's gratitude. Gratitude is beautiful when it exists, but it is unreliable when it becomes the foundation of your happiness. If your peace depends on everyone remembering your sacrifices, disappointment will visit you more often than you expect. As life continues, you begin noticing another important truth. Benefits often disguise themselves as loyalty. This is perhaps the most deceptive stage because everything appears genuine while the benefits continue flowing. Someone constantly compliments you because you always solve their problems. Another person enjoys your company because you pay for every outing. Someone else remains close because your influence opens doors they cannot open alone. None of these situations immediately feel dishonest because affection and benefit often exist together. The difficulty comes when the benefits disappear. If kindness suddenly turns into coldness, if communication ends without explanation, or if affection evaporates the moment you stop providing, then what looked like loyalty was often dependency wearing a convincing disguise. Think of a fruit tree standing in a busy village. Throughout the harvest season, people gather beneath its branches every day. They admire its beauty. They praise how generous it is. Children climb its limbs. Adults rest beneath its shade. Everyone seems to appreciate the tree. Then one season arrives when the tree produces no fruit. Suddenly, the visitors become fewer. The conversations disappear. The admiration fades. The tree itself has not changed. It still offers shade. It still stands faithfully where it always has. Yet because it no longer produces what people came for, many quietly move on to another tree. Life can feel exactly like that when your value is measured only by what you produce instead of who you are. The difficult truth is that you cannot control how people respond to your kindness. You cannot force gratitude. You cannot demand loyalty. You cannot negotiate genuine affection. But you can choose where you invest your heart. Instead of exhausting yourself trying to keep everyone happy, begin paying attention to patterns. Who remembers you during your difficult seasons? Who celebrates your victories without jealousy? Who remains present when you have nothing impressive to offer? Who asks about your well-being without immediately turning the conversation toward their own needs? These quiet moments reveal far more than grand speeches about friendship ever could. Perhaps the greatest gift life gives us is time, because time exposes what appearances often hide. False loyalty struggles to survive inconvenience. Genuine loyalty grows stronger through it. When you experience financial hardship, true friends do not disappear simply because expensive outings are no longer possible. When illness limits your strength, they do not quietly replace you with someone more entertaining. When failure humbles you, they do not pretend they never knew you. They remain. They encourage. They understand that every human life moves through seasons, and they refuse to base their commitment on temporary circumstances. Those are the relationships worth protecting because they are built on character instead of convenience. This is why you should never become bitter when certain people walk away. Bitterness gives too much power to those who have already taken enough of your emotional energy. Instead, choose gratitude, not because the experience was pleasant, but because the truth was revealed before you invested even more of your life into the wrong people. Every departure creates space for healthier relationships. Every disappointment sharpens your ability to recognize sincerity. Every betrayal teaches you that loyalty cannot be measured by loud promises but by quiet consistency. Words are easy. Presence is rare. Anyone can claim they will always be there. Only time proves who actually will. Ironically, losing people for the wrong reasons often brings you closer to the right ones. When your life becomes simpler, when your circle becomes smaller, and when expectations become healthier, you begin appreciating relationships that are free from constant transactions. You laugh more genuinely because you are no longer performing for acceptance. You rest more peacefully because you no longer feel pressured to earn affection through endless sacrifices. You discover that real companionship does not require you to constantly prove your worth. It simply asks you to be honest, respectful, and present. So perhaps today is a good day to pause and ask yourself a few honest questions. If you could no longer provide money, influence, advice, opportunities, or emotional support, who would still choose to remain in your life? Whose friendship has survived seasons when you had absolutely nothing to offer except your presence? Equally important, are you offering that same kind of loyalty to others? It is easy to expect unwavering commitment from people while quietly disappearing whenever their lives become inconvenient. The kind of loyalty we hope to receive is the same kind we must learn to give. Relationships become stronger when both people value each other beyond usefulness. In the end, one truth stands above every other lesson. Real loyalty is never proven during seasons of abundance. It is revealed during seasons of lack. Anyone can stand beside a person who is successful, generous, influential, and constantly giving. The real test comes when the applause fades, the resources become limited, the struggles begin, and there are no obvious benefits left to gain. The people who remain during those moments are not staying because of what you provide. They are staying because of who you are. Those are the friendships worth protecting, the family members worth appreciating, and the relationships worth investing in for a lifetime. Never be afraid when convenience exposes false loyalty. Be grateful that truth arrived before more years were wasted. Because while many people may walk away when your usefulness ends, the few who stay will remind you that genuine loyalty has never been about benefits. It has always been about the heart.